Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth episode of our five-part webinar series on how delayed decision-making impacts the pillars of the customer journey. My name is Dylan Smith, and in this episode, we'll be diving into a topic that's been around for about as long as customers have, which is how can companies proactively reduce customer support costs? Now, we know, and you know, that every customer interaction matters. But I want you to think about a particular customer interaction that you've had recently as a customer. Think about a recent experience that you've had interacting with a brand when maybe things weren't going so great. A time when you weren't able to self-serve and you had to reach out for help. Now, for me, what comes to mind is having to call my water utility in order to transfer and set up new service after moving houses. And I probably spent across 3 calls over an hour on the phone in order to get this done. It's not an example of exceptional customer support that we've come to expect. Contrast that with moving my internet service. Now that I got done in about 3 minutes on the company's mobile application, and they even made it so that I didn't have to pay for the time when I was in between houses when I wouldn't need service. It's almost as if they had anticipated my needs and my concerns, and they pre-built that into the digital experience so that I wouldn't have to call in for help. Now, why can't more digital experiences be like that? At Quantum, we believe it's because many organizations are not directly linking their help and support to the experience that the customer has digitally. So they can understand things like, why are customers calling? How many are calling because of this? And I think this puts many teams in a state of delayed decision making where they see these customers reaching out, but they're not connecting the dots about why they are so that they can take action. And this brings us to the fourth key pillar of the digital customer journey, which we call help and support. Now, good companies ensure that their customers can get the answers they need quickly and easily. But great companies constantly improve their digital experience so that customers can do that without having to pick up the phone. To illustrate the real world impact of this, I'd like to introduce you to Justin Allen. Justin, would you join me? Hey, Justin.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Justin is a leader on our customer success team, and he's been focused with Quantum Metric customers on helping them go through a process that we call data enrichment, which help customers understand what things in their digital experience are driving support calls and contacts, and then helps them build a game plan to increase self-service and reduce those unnecessary support calls. So Justin, welcome. I believe you have a recent success story to share with us about a company that you've helped be more proactive in their support. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, for sure. And let me just start by saying you're totally right. We see this every day where, look, companies know that there's digital friction happening on their sites and apps that are driving people to call contact centers. It can just be really difficult to pinpoint exactly what issues are the biggest. What should we really be spending our time, energy, and resources on fixing? The way we see this manifest itself often is you have someone somewhere saying, hey, we really need to focus on this issue. I think it's really causing a huge pain point. Similarly, you'll have someone else saying, no, I actually think we should prioritize this. Maybe someone somewhere else is even saying something completely different. And oftentimes just the loudest voice there can win. Or maybe the CFO goes on the site one day and notices something's broken. And now it's kind of all hands on deck trying to fix that, even though at the end of the day, we don't really even know how many users that was impacting or how big of an issue it really even was. So one quick example that I'll share, we work with a pharmacy, and you can already just imagine the types of things that you're trying to do digitally there, whether it's register for an account, pay a bill, refill a prescription, super important things that oftentimes can be complex and just even add to kind of the noise there. So one issue that we really helped them nail down is a payment issue that was happening when folks were just trying to refill their prescriptions. So again, you can imagine how frustrating that can be. Like, I'm just trying to refill my prescription and get the medications that I need, and I can't even do that because of this payment issue. So what's happening is there was a message around a payment hold, and these people actually had to change their payment method in order to continue in the process, which again is already just incredibly frustrating when you're really just trying to get those prescriptions that you need. And the worst part is that the site didn't even really give them a very easy way to do this. So the change payment method option was buried deep in the navigation. And so users legit just couldn't even find this. And it was completely blocking the experience. So again, now you can imagine how frustrating that really is for someone who just wants to get their prescriptions refilled. And what we were able to do is bring data to the table and really let the data be the loudest voice in the room in this case. And so we were able to illustrate that not only was this impacting thousands of users per month, but it actually was incredibly blocking. So people that were experiencing this issue were unable to change their payment method. We saw success rates for these sessions be very low for even being able to just refill their prescriptions. And we could take that even a step further with that data enrichment piece that you were talking about and link that to call center data to show that these users also have a very high call rate because, again, as you can imagine, when you're just trying to refill your prescription there, you'll probably be contacting the contact center if you can't find what you need on the site or the app there. So again, just bringing all that data to the table really made it easy for them to prioritize a fix for this. So they did put a hot fix, and happy to report back that if you go through this experience again and you get that same message, there's a nice, clear, easy way to change your payment method directly there within the experience itself. So you don't have to go through all these hoops of then contacting the contact center. You can kind of just self-serve digitally, which is super nice. And we've seen that success rate jump up. So again, really just a quick story around bringing the right data to the table to help with that prioritization process and make sure that we're fixing the right things that we now know are driving some of those goals.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I love to hear that how by letting data be the loudest voice in the room, you were able to come to that much more positive outcome for customers. Just at the end of the day, what this is all about, right? And what else I love about that story is that it really illustrates how what we talk about at Quantum called the quantified why, how that's something that can extend beyond just the digital realm, right? So you can have a more holistic understanding of how you can positively impact the customer experience. And there's another great example for those of you that are watching of how a financial services help and support team leverage those digital tools in order to provide better service in those situations where support was necessary. You can read about that in our 5 Pillars of the Customer Journey ebook, which we'll be sure to link here so that you can check that out. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can make faster decisions and take more decisive action to improve your help and support experience, check out our website at quantummetric.com and head over to the demo section of the website. There's actually a really great one in there on this process that we call data enrichment and call driver analytics that will show you in the platform exactly what Justin was describing. Well, thank you again for joining us. And Justin, thank you for sharing that story. And for those of you at home, please check out the 5th and final part of our webinar series on delayed decision making, where we'll be discussing how you can identify those hidden issues before they cost you millions. We'll see you next time.